The star was dead. Captain Vexatai looked at the main screen of his ship and saw nothing but cold space where a sun should have been. His blue skin rippled with concern as he studied the readings. The Harmony's Edge had traveled far from home to investigate strange signals from this system. Now he wondered if the journey was worth it. "Captain," called Science Officer Kremoth from her station. Her insect-like body clicked as she moved between different instruments. "The gravitational readings are impossible. There should be nothing here but empty space." Vextai swam closer to her station. His species needed water to breathe, so his ship was filled with a special atmosphere that let both water and air exist together. "Show me what you found." The main screen changed to display a map of the system. Red dots appeared everywhere, scattered around the dead star like seeds thrown by a giant hand. Thousands of dots, maybe millions. "What are those?" asked Navigator Zulpan. His crystal body caught the light from the screen and threw rainbow colors across the bridge. "Asteroids?" Kremoth's antenna twitched. "No, they are too regular. Too organized." She pressed more buttons and the image changed. "Captain, I think they are ships." The bridge went quiet. Vextai felt his hearts beat faster. Ships meant people. But these readings showed no life signs, no power sources, no movement at all. "Dead ships?" he asked. "All of them," Kremoth confirmed. "But Captain, look at this." The screen zoomed in on one section. The dots there were different colors. Each color represents a different type of metal, a different design. These ships came from many different worlds. Zulpan's crystal form glowed brighter with excitement. A battle site, but the size of it. Vexatai made his decision. "Take us closer, slowly. Keep all scanners active." The ship moved forward into the debris field. As they got closer, the true size of what they found became clear. This was not just a few dead ships. This was an entire graveyard of civilizations. "Captain," Kremoth's voice was barely a whisper. "I am reading ships from over 300 different species. Some of these designs are completely unknown to our databases." Through the screen, they could see the wrecks now, massive battleships twisted into strange shapes, space stations broken into pieces. Some ships were so large they had their own gravity fields, pulling smaller debris into orbit around them. "How old is this?" Vextai asked. Kremoth ran her tests, quickly. "The metal decay suggests 50,000 years, Captain. Maybe more. 50,000 years. That was before the Galactic Confederation existed. Before most species had even left their homeworlds. What kind of war could have brought so many different peoples together in one place?" "There!" Zulpan pointed to a section of the debris field. "That area is different." Vextai looked where his navigator pointed. In one part of the field, the wrecks were more tightly packed together. They formed a rough line between the other. Ships and empty space beyond. "Take us there," he ordered. As they moved closer, they could see that these ships were smaller than the others, less advanced looking, but there were so many of them. They were packed together like a wall of metal and death. "These ships are all the same design," Kremoth reported. "Same species, same technology level, much less advanced than the others." "A shield," Zulpan said suddenly. They formed a shield. Vextai understood immediately. The small ships had placed themselves between the larger fleet and whatever had attacked them. They had used their own bodies as a barrier. Who would do such a thing? He wondered aloud. "Captain, I am finding intact data cores in some of the larger ships," Kremoth said. "We might be able to learn what happened here." "Do it. But carefully. We do not know what killed all these people." As his science officer worked, Vextai studied the battlefield. The more he looked, the more questions he had. The attacking force had left no wreckage behind. Whatever had destroyed all these ships had taken their own dead with them. That spoke of discipline and organization. But the defending fleet told a different story. They had fought with desperation. Ships were locked together in death grips. Some had rammed their enemies rather than retreat. In the center of it all, the small primitive ships had held their line even as they died. "I have something," Kremoth announced. "One of the command ships still has working computers. The language, is being translated now. Words appeared on the screen. Vextai read them with growing amazement. Final log of Admiral Veltar of the Centauri Defense Fleet. The enemy has broken through our outer defenses. The humans say they can hold them here, but the cost... The message cut off. Humans? Vextai had never heard the word before. More. Text appeared. Personal log of Commander Zixara. I do not understand these humans. They know they cannot win. Their ships are weak. Their weapons are primitive. But they refuse to retreat. They say someone must buy time for the evacuation fleets. They volunteer to die so others may live. The small ships, Zulpan said. The primitive ones forming the barrier. Those belong to these humans. Kremoth found more files. Battle reports, supply lists, medical records. Slowly, the story became clear. This had been the final battle in a great war. An enemy from beyond the galaxy had come to destroy all life. The greatest civilizations had gathered here to make their last stand, and, in the center of it all, a newly discovered species called humanity had volunteered to hold the line. Captain? Kremoth's voice was strange. There is something else. References to coordinates, a place called the Garden, and something about sleeping giants. What does it mean? I do not know. But several files mention a project. Project Lazarus. The records are damaged, but it seems the humans had a plan. Vextai looked out at the graveyard of ships. 50,000 years ago, these humans had died to save people they barely knew, species they had just met. And now their story was lost to time. Download everything you can, he ordered. Every file, every record. These people deserve to be remembered. As the Harmony's edge continued through the debris field, none of them noticed the small sensor probes that activated as they passed. Deep in hidden bunkers built into asteroids, ancient computers noted the presence of new visitors. After 50,000 years of silence, something was finally stirring in humanity's graveyard. The Watchers were awakening. 3 days later, Kremoth had found something amazing. Deep inside a broken command station, she discovered computers that still worked. The alien technology was old, but well built. With careful work, she managed to access the data files. Captain, you need to see this, she called from her station. Vextai swam over quickly. The main screen now showed images and text from 50,000 years ago. Battle maps, ship designs, and faces of people long dead. I have been reading their histories, Kremoth explained. This war was not just one battle. It lasted for over 200 years. 200 years. Zulpan's crystal body flickered with surprise. What enemy could fight for so long? The screen changed to show a map of the galaxy. Red areas marked where stars had once been. Now those places were empty voids in space. They called it the Void Swarm. Kremoth read from the files. It came from beyond our galaxy. Not one species, but millions of them working together. They did not want to conquer worlds, they wanted to eat them. Vextai felt cold water flow through his gills. Eat them? Everything. Planets, stars, even space itself. They would arrive at a system and consume it completely. When they were done, nothing remained but empty darkness. The images on screen showed the Void Swarm's path across the galaxy. System after system went dark as they advanced. Entire civilizations vanished overnight. How do you fight something like that? Vextai asked. Most species tried to run. Kremoth continued reading. The Velkari Empire moved their entire population to another galaxy. The Zenth Collective hid in underground cities. The crystalline hegemony tried to make peace with the swarm. Did any of it work? No. The swarm found them all eventually. Running only delayed the end. More files appeared on screen. These showed the final years of the war. The last free species had gathered together to make one final stand. Their best ships, their greatest warriors, their most advanced weapons, everything they had left. And the humans? Vextai asked, though he thought he knew the answer. The humans were the newest members of the galactic community, Kremoth read. They had only achieved faster-than-light travel 50 years before the swarm reached their space. Their technology was primitive compared to the older races. The ASI screen showed images of human ships. They were simple designs built for function rather than beauty. Compared to the elegant vessels of other species, they looked like metal boxes with engines attached. But look at this. Kremoth highlighted part of the text. When the call went out for the final battle, humanity sent everything they had. Not just their military ships, but civilian vessels too. Cargo haulers, passenger transports, even mining. Ships. All converted for war. Vextai studied the numbers. They brought more ships than anyone else. Yes. But more than that, they brought something the other species had lost. Hope. New files opened. These were personal records from the human ships. Vextai read them with growing amazement. Personal log of Admiral Do-hyun Kim, Human Defense Fleet. We know the odds. Our computers have run the calculations 1,000 times. We cannot win this battle, but we can buy time. Time for the evacuation fleets to reach safety. Time for some small part of galactic civilization to survive. Another file appeared. Captain's log, Mina Park, volunteer squadron leader. My crew knows this is a one-way mission. They volunteered anyway. When I asked why, Engineer Taeho Shin said something I will never forget. Because if we do not stand here, who will stand? Anywhere? More personal records followed. Dr. Haewon Choi, a scientist who had studied the Void Swarm and found their weak points. Commander Woo-Jin Lee, who had designed new weapons specifically for this battle. Taeho Shin, who had turned cargo ships into flying bombs. Every human seemed to understand they were going to die, but they came anyway. There is something else, Kremoth said. References to a secret project. They called it Project Lazarus. What was it? The files are damaged, but it seems to involve coordinates to a hidden system and instructions for something called resurrection protocols. Vextai was confused. Resurrection? But everyone here died. That is what I thought too, but look at this. The screen showed a partial message from Admiral Kim. Phase 1 of Lazarus is complete. The garden is prepared. If we fail here, there is still hope for the future. The garden? Zulpan moved closer to read the text. What is the garden? More searching through the files revealed fragments of information, references to genetic samples, cryogenic storage, advanced hiding technology, and coordinates to a system not on any star chart. Captain, Kremoth's voice was excited. I think some of the humans might still be alive. Vextai's water went cold. After 50,000 years, in suspended animation, the technology existed even then. If they built a hidden base, if they prepared properly, show me the coordinates. The numbers appeared on screen. The location was 3 days away at maximum speed, a system that should have been empty according to all their maps, sir, Zulpan said carefully. What if this is a trap? What if the humans were working with the Void Swarm? Vextai considered this. It was possible. The humans had appeared just before the Swarm's final attack. Their willingness to die could have been an act. But as he read more of their personal logs, he found that hard to believe. These people had genuinely cared about saving others. Their sacrifice had been real. We investigate, he decided. But, carefully, full shields, weapons ready. As the Harmony's Edge prepared to leave the graveyard, Kremoth found one last file. It was a message recorded by Admiral Kim just before the final battle. To whoever finds this record, we are about to face an enemy we cannot defeat with conventional weapons. But humanity has always been good at finding unconventional solutions. If you are reading this, it means our sacrifice here was not in vain. Someone survived. Someone remembers. Look for the garden. Look for the sleepers. The war may be over, but the story is not finished. The ship turned away from the field of dead vessels and set course for the mysterious coordinates. Behind them, the graveyard of humanity's last battle slowly faded into the darkness. But deep in the debris field, ancient sensors continued to track their movement. After 50,000 years of waiting, the Watchers had visitors, and the visitors were heading exactly where the Watchers hoped they would go. The resurrection was about to begin. The coordinates led them to empty space. Vextai stared at the scanner readings with confusion. According to their instruments, there was nothing here. No planets, no asteroids, not even space dust. Are we in the right place? He asked Zulpan. The navigator checked his calculations twice. Yes, Captain. These are the exact coordinates from the human files. Then where is this garden? Kremoth was running deep scans with every sensor the ship had. I am detecting gravitational anomalies. Something large is here, but our sensors cannot see it. Stealth technology? More advanced than anything in our databases. If there is something here, it is very well hidden. Vextai made a decision that could save or doom them all. Broadcast a message. Use the human language we learned from their files. What should we say? Tell them we found their graveyard. Tell them we know about Project Lazarus. Tell them we come in peace. The message was sent into the empty space. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then the stars began to move. It was not the stars that moved, Vextai realized. It was space itself changing around them. The darkness rippled like water, and suddenly, a system appeared where none had been before. Incredible, Kremoth whispered. 3 planets orbited a hidden sun. The inner planet was small and rocky. The outer planet was a gas giant with many moons. But the middle planet took their breath away. It was green and blue and white. Clouds swirled over continents and oceans. City lights sparkled on the dark side like scattered jewels. This world was very much alive. Incoming transmission, reported the communications officer. The main screen showed a human face. She was an older woman with gray hair and kind but tired eyes. When she spoke, her words were automatically translated. Welcome, travelers from the Confederation. I am Director So Young, and of the New Eden Preservation Project. We have been waiting for someone to find us. Vextai was so surprised he could barely speak. You are human. I am. As are the 600 million others sleeping in the facilities below. She smiled sadly. We have been asleep for 50,000 years, waiting for the galaxy to heal. Sleeping? All of you? Most of us. A few thousand stay awake in shifts to maintain the systems and watch for threats. I have been awake for the past century waiting for visitors like you. The human woman seemed to read their confusion. Please come to the surface. Land at the coordinates I am sending you. There is much to explain, and the explanation is better, given in person. The Harmony's edge descended through the atmosphere of New Eden. From space it had looked like a natural world, but as they got closer, they could see the truth. This was a carefully designed garden on a massive scale. Forests and grasslands covered most of the land, but they were arranged in perfect patterns. Rivers flowed in geometric designs. Even the mountains had been shaped to serve some purpose. They landed near a small city built into the side of a hill. The buildings looked human, but they were clearly designed for long-term survival. Everything was built to last thousands of years. Director Han met them at the landing pad. With her were several other humans, including a tall man in a military uniform. I am General Byung-Ho Kang, the man introduced himself. I command the Defense Forces of New Eden. Defense Forces? Vextai was confused. But there are so few of you awake. 6,000, Han confirmed. But we are not defenseless. This world is not just a preserve, Captain. It is a fortress. She led them into the city. As they walked, she began to tell them the truth about humanity's war against the Void Swarm. The battle you found, the graveyard, that was not where humanity died, she explained. That was where we chose to appear to die. I do not understand. General Kang took over the explanation. We studied the Void Swarm for decades. We learned how they hunted, how they decided which systems to attack. We discovered their weakness. Which was? They ignored dead systems, places where all life had been destroyed. The swarm only consumed living worlds. Dead ones held no interest for them. They entered a large building filled with advanced computers. Through the windows they could see vast fields where millions of humans lay in cryogenic sleep. So we staged our own extinction, Han continued. The battle at the graveyard was real. Humans really died there. But it was also theater. We made sure the swarm saw us fall, made sure they thought we were extinct. Dr. Young-Soo Lim, a man who looked much younger than the others, joined them. While the battle raged, we were here, preparing for the long sleep. Genetic samples from every human alive, cultural archives, technology. Everything needed to rebuild our species when the time was right. But the Void Swarm, Kremoth said. What happened to them? We won, General Kang said simply. Not through force of arms, but through deception and patience. The other species thought we were dead, so they stopped looking for human help. But we never stopped helping them. Captain Ji-won Song, a woman in a dark uniform, stepped forward. We sent anonymous intelligence about swarm movements. We sabotaged their supply lines. We guided other species to their weak points, all while appearing to be extinct. The swarm became confused, Han explained. Their prey was fighting back with tactics and knowledge they should not have possessed. Their perfect coordination began to break down. Engineer Dongmin Yu showed them a holographic display of the galaxy. It took 3,000 years, but eventually the swarm retreated beyond the galactic rim. They never returned. Vextai was amazed, but also troubled. You let everyone think you were dead for 50,000 years? We had to be sure, Han said. Sure the swarm was truly gone. Sure the galaxy was safe. Sure that when we returned, we would not bring danger with us, and now? Now we wake up. Slowly, carefully. We have been monitoring galactic civilization through hidden sensors. We know about the Confederation. We know you have built a peaceful society. General Kang's expression grew serious. But we also know new threats are emerging. Dark energy, storms on the galactic rim, rogue artificial intelligences, pirates using void swarm technology they found in dead systems. The galaxy needs guardians again, Captain Song added. And humans are very good at guarding things. They spent hours learning about New Eden. The planet was indeed a fortress, but hidden so well it looked like a garden. Underground factories could produce anything needed for war or peace. The sleeping humans included every profession and skill their species possessed. We are not the same humans who fought at the graveyard, Dr. Lim explained. 50,000 years of preparation have changed us. We have new technologies, new understandings, but we still remember why we made our sacrifice. To protect life, Han said simply, to stand guard so others can live in peace. As evening fell on New Eden, Vextai stood on a balcony overlooking the sleeping chambers. Millions of humans lay in peaceful suspension, waiting for their turn to return to life. But something was bothering him. Director Han, if you have been monitoring the galaxy, you must know about threats we do not. Her expression grew dark. Yes, we detected something 3 days ago. The same day you entered our old graveyard. What kind of something? Void swarm signals. From beyond the galactic rim. They are coming back. The news hit the crew of the Harmony's Edge like a physical blow. The void swarm was returning. The ancient enemy that had consumed entire civilizations was coming back to finish what it started. How long do we have? Vextai asked Director Han. She was studying data on her personal computer. Our deep space sensors show their scout fleets are still far away. Perhaps 6 months before they reach the outer systems. Scout fleets, how many? Unknown. But if they follow their old patterns, the scouts will map our defenses before the main force arrives. We have maybe 2 years before the real invasion begins. General Kang was already moving into action. All defense personnel to battle stations. Begin awakening Protocol 7. We need military commanders and ship crews first. Captain Song turned to the alien visitors. You need to warn the Confederation immediately. They must prepare for war. Vextai felt overwhelmed. But how can we fight them? If the greatest civilizations could not defeat them before. The galaxy is different now, Dr. Lim said. Stronger, more united. And this time, humanity will not have to pretend to be dead. Over the next several days, New Eden transformed before their eyes. The peaceful garden world revealed its true nature as humans began waking from their long sleep. Underground factories came online. Hidden shipyards opened to the sky. Commander Seong-ho Nam was one of the first military officers to wake up. He had been an intelligence operative, monitoring the galaxy for threats while most of his people slept. The Confederation military is not ready for this kind of war, he told them bluntly. Your species have lived in peace for thousands of years. You have forgotten how to fight for survival. Then teach us, Vextai said. We will. But first, we must deal with the immediate threat. Nam showed them recordings from the deep space sensors. Dark shapes moved between the stars, heading toward the galactic rim. They were still too far away to see clearly, but their energy signatures matched the old Void Swarm vessels. These are just scouts, Nam explained. Fast ships designed to gather information. They will probe our defenses, looking for weak points. Ambassador Kyungmi Bae, a diplomat who specialized in alien relations, joined their planning sessions. We need to contact the Confederation Council immediately, but we must be careful how we reveal ourselves. Why careful? Kremoth asked. Because some species will fear us, she said honestly. We are the race that deceived the entire galaxy for 50,000 years. Some will see us as liars and manipulators. Engineer Subin Jian was working on integrating human technology with Confederation systems. Our weapons and defenses are far ahead of current galactic standards, but the swarm will have improved too. Admiral Jinwoo Ryu, the newly awakened fleet commander, was blunt about their situation. We cannot fight the full swarm alone. We need every ship the Confederation can provide. But more than that, we need them to trust us. The political situation was complicated. Dr. Yoon-ji Ko, who specialized in psychology, explained the challenges they faced. Many humans are having trouble adjusting to being awake again. 50,000 years is a long time, even in suspended animation. Some are confused, some are angry, some want revenge against the swarm. And the rest of the galaxy? They will have many questions. Where have we been? Why did we hide? Can we be trusted? We must answer these questions while preparing for war. Vextai found himself in the middle of these discussions. As the alien who had discovered humanity's secret, he was becoming an unofficial ambassador between his people and theirs. My crew needs to return to Confederation space, he told Director Han. We must warn the Council and begin preparations. Agreed. But take some of our people with you. Ambassador Bae and Commander Nam can help explain the situation. What about the rest of you? General Kang answered. We wake more of our people and prepare our defenses. The swarm scouts will reach the outer system soon. When they do, they must find us ready. As the Harmony's Edge prepared to leave New Eden, Vextai learned more about humanity's preparations over the past 50,000 years. They had not simply slept and waited. They had planned and built and prepared. We have sensor networks throughout the galaxy, Nam explained. Hidden bases, on dead worlds, automated factories and asteroid belts. The Confederation thinks they know every system, but we have been living in the spaces between. Living? Small groups of humans, never more than a few hundred, maintaining our hidden assets. They lived entire lifetimes keeping watch, then passed their duties to their children. The scope of humanity's secret civilization was staggering. They had ships hidden in nebulae, weapons platforms disguised as space debris, research stations that had been developing new technologies for millennia. Why reveal yourselves now? Vextai asked. You could have stayed hidden. Director Han smiled sadly. Because the galaxy is our home too. These are our friends, our neighbors, our family. We cannot let them face the swarm alone. As they traveled back toward Confederation space, Ambassador Bae prepared for the most difficult diplomatic mission in galactic history. She would have to convince dozens of different species to trust humanity again, after 50,000 years of deception. Some species will welcome us back, she admitted to Vextai. Others will fear us. A few might even attack us, thinking we are invaders. What about the Council? The Council will want proof. Evidence that we are who we claim to be, evidence that the swarm is really returning, evidence that we can be trusted. Commander Nam was working with the ship's computer systems, showing them human technology that could be integrated with Confederation defenses. Our biggest advantage is surprise. The swarm thinks humanity is extinct. They are not prepared for us to return. Will that be enough? It will have to be. Because if we fail this time, there will be no galaxy left to save. 3 days into their journey, the ship's long-range sensors detected something troubling. Energy signatures in the outer systems that matched nothing in their databases. Swarm scouts, Nam confirmed grimly. They are already here. The race had begun. Humanity was awakening from its long sleep, preparing to reveal itself to a galaxy that thought they were dead. The Confederation had to be warned, prepared, and united against an ancient enemy. And somewhere in the darkness between stars, the Void Swarm was stirring once again, hungry for the life it had been denied for 50,000 years. The real war was about to begin. The Confederation Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Bay finished her presentation. Representatives from hundreds of worlds stared at the evidence she had shown them. Video recordings from New Eden, technical specifications of human technology, and, most disturbing of all, sensor readings showing void swarm ships approaching the galactic rim. Council Speaker Mordak, a tall reptilian being, was the first to speak. You claim to represent a species that died 50,000 years ago? We never died, Bay replied calmly. We chose to appear dead so that we could save the galaxy. By lying to everyone for 50 millennia? By sacrificing our open existence so that yours could continue? The chamber erupted in angry voices. Some council members accused humanity of deception, others demanded proof. A few called for the human representatives to be arrested as fraudsters. Through it all, Commander Nam stood quietly beside Ambassador Bay, his hand near his weapon but his expression calm. Captain Vextai watched from the observers section, wondering if his discovery had doomed the galaxy to another war. Order, Speaker Mordak called. We will hear all evidence before making decisions. Counselor Zeth Ara, representing the peaceful meditation worlds, leaned forward. Even if we believe your story, how do we know you can be trusted? You deceived us once. How do we know you are not deceiving us again? Before Bay could answer, the chamber's emergency systems activated. Red. Lights flashed as an urgent message appeared on every screen. Outer system defense platforms are under attack, the automated system announced. Unknown hostiles using energy weapons. All defensive units respond immediately. Nam stepped forward. Those are Void Swarm scouts. We are out of time for debate. Impossible. Counselor Devnan from the warrior clans objected. Our sensors would have detected them days ago. Your sensors are looking for ships like yours, Nam replied. The swarm builds ships that absorb sensor waves instead of reflecting them. By the time you detect them, they are already attacking. More reports flooded in. Defense stations going silent. Patrol ships disappearing. The outer rim was under assault by enemies that seemed to appear from nowhere. Fleet Admiral Yulkani rose from his seat. Even if these humans speak the truth, what can they do? A few thousand people against the force that destroyed the ancient galaxy? More than a few thousand, Bay said quietly. The main screen changed to show a view of space near the galactic core. As they watched, ships began appearing from nowhere. Not dozens or hundreds, but thousands. Then tens of thousands. They looked like the ancient human ships from the graveyard, but different, sleeker, more advanced. And they moved with perfect coordination, forming battle lines that stretched across multiple star systems. Fleet Admiral Chang Wook Park, Human Defense Command to all Confederation forces. A voice announced over the communication system. We are moving to intercept the swarm advance. All friendly ships, please identify yourselves and move to safe coordinates. The council chamber fell completely silent. On screen, they could see the largest space fleet in galactic history deploying for battle. Ships that had been hidden for 50,000 years were finally revealing themselves. How many? Admiral Yulkani whispered. 2 million ships in the first wave, Nam answered. Another 5 million in reserve. We have been building for 50,000 years. But the real shock came when the screen showed the ships up close. They were not just human vessels. Mixed in with the familiar designs were ships from dozens of other species. Some were designs from the ancient graveyard. Others were completely unknown. The humans were not the only ones who faked their deaths. Bay explained. Some species joined us in the long sleep. Others chose to hide in different ways. The Kethani retreated to pocket dimensions. The Vortalok hid inside hollow asteroids. The Grixmar uploaded their consciousness into quantum computers. You mean, we mean the galaxy is not as defenseless as you think. Many of the extinct warrior races never actually died. They just waited for the right moment to return. The battle began as they watched. The swarm scouts moved fast, trying to escape back to their main fleet, but they found themselves surrounded by ships that had been lying in wait for centuries. Captain Yejin Huang commanded the flagship Resurrection, a massive vessel that had been built inside a hollowed-out asteroid. Her voice came over the communications as she coordinated the attack. All units, this is Resurrection Command. The enemy is attempting to escape through Grid 7, Graveyard Core. Move to intercept. Master Sergeant In-Ho Jang led the elite Graveyard Corps, small fast ships crewed by humans who had volunteered to spend their lives maintaining the hidden fleet. They moved like a pack of hunting animals, cutting off the swarm's escape routes. The battle was swift and one-sided. The swarm scouts had been designed for reconnaissance, not combat against prepared enemies. Within hours, all of them had been destroyed or captured. Scout elimination complete, Admiral Park reported. No enemy vessels escaped, proceeding with Phase 2 of the defense plan. Dr. Hyojin Choi, the battle coordinator, appeared on screen from the command center. Confederation. Council, we need to coordinate our forces immediately. Our analysis of the captured scout ships shows the main swarm fleet is larger than anticipated. How much larger? Speaker Mordak asked. 10 times larger than the force that attacked 50,000 years ago. They have been growing, preparing, learning from their defeat. The political arguments were forgotten. Faced with an existential threat, the Confederation moved quickly to integrate with the returning human forces, but it was not easy. Commander Moon-Sik An, who controlled the automated defense grid, had to explain why human technology was so far ahead of Confederation standards. We never stopped developing weapons, he said during a technical briefing. While you built a peaceful civilization, we prepared for the return of your greatest enemy. The integration was complicated by fear and suspicion. Some Confederation species worried that humanity had become too militaristic during their long isolation. Others feared that the returning extinct races would try to reclaim their old territories. But as the swarm's main fleet drew closer, these concerns became secondary to survival. The galaxy's greatest defensive network was revealed as ancient systems came online. The graveyard around the dead star was the centerpiece. What had appeared to be wreckage was actually the most sophisticated weapons platform ever built. Brindus. Factories began producing ships and weapons at an incredible rate. 50,000 years ago, we made you a promise. Admiral Park addressed the Confederation Council from his flagship. We promised that no species would face extinction alone, while humans lived. Today we keep that promise. The final battle began as the Void Swarm main fleet entered the Outer Rim. But this time, they did not face a desperate last stand by unprepared civilizations. They faced a galaxy that had spent 50,000 years preparing for their return. Human ships coordinated with Confederation fleets. Ancient warrior races emerged from hiding to join the battle. Automated defense platforms that had masqueraded as space debris for millennia activated their weapons. The swarm had expected to find the same weak, scattered galaxy they had nearly consumed before. Instead, they found humanity's true fortress, an entire galaxy transformed into a weapon. The battle lasted 3 days. When it was over, the Void Swarm was finally, truly defeated. Their ships were destroyed, or driven back to the void between galaxies. As the victory reports came in, Admiral Park made one final transmission to the Confederation Council. You thought you found humanity's graveyard, he said, looking tired, but satisfied. What you actually found was our promise. We died so the galaxy could live. Now we live so it never has to die again. The galaxy was safe. Humanity had returned from its long exile, and the greatest deception in galactic history had become its greatest salvation.